In manufacturing, the decision to process further can be a major decision within the company, as it is not always wise to continue production of a product past a specific part of production. Many companies can make serious mistakes by not paying attention to their books and looking at the numbers to see truly if it is a benefit to the company. They should normally ask these three basic questions. How much revenue will they receive if they sell the product as is? Many companies automatically assume that the added cost of producing further is negative for the company, when in reality it could actually be a great benefit. The second question they should ask is how much revenue will they receive if we sell the product after processing it further, as in many cases it can be more profitable to produce it further, even though the increased added cost of producing it further. And the last most important question is how much extra will it cost to process the product further, as this cost can be significant and can offset a company's books for the worst.
So here we have the incremental analysis, sell or process further decision. Right here we just use an example of revenues for Kraft. And here we have either standard cheese to sell as is, so no change, or to process further, which they're thinking of, which is to process their standard cheese to gourmet cheese. So here we have their sales of $8 per unit of 30,000 units, which is $240,000. And right here is $15 times 30,000 units, which is $450,000 of their gourmet cheese. And the difference between them is that it's $210 plus, well, since we're subtracting 240 from 450 to determine whether we should process further. With the extra cost, we see that there's zero, because if we sell as is, that's the product that we have already, so there's no extra cost that we would incur. If we process further, there will be a cost of $45,000 with materials and stuff like that to just put into processing it. And the difference, well, of 0 and 45,000 is that they would have a $45,000 cost from their difference. Right here with the operating income, it would just stay the same of $240,000. Right here, we would subtract the cost from their process further sales, which would be $405,000. And the difference between them is that since we subtract 210 and 45 from each other, we get $165,000 from whether we could see if we process further or not.
The first question to apply to our calculations that we just calculated is to analyze how much revenue we'll receive for selling the product as is. And the revenue for standard cheese is $240,000, and the revenue we'll receive for gourmet cheese selling as is $450,000. The next question to apply is what's the revenue if we sell the product after processing further? If we process further standard cheese into gourmet cheese, our revenue will increase to $450,000. The last question to apply to our calculations is how much will it cost extra to process further standard cheese into gourmet cheese? The total cost to process further will be $45,000, which then you subtract that from the total profit, the total revenue from gourmet cheese, which if you subtract $450,000, the revenue for gourmet cheese, from the total cost to process further, you will end up with a decrease in the revenue of $405,000, which then in the end, the total difference from standard cheese revenue to the gourmet cheese revenue is a $165,000 profit, which then in the end, we are in business to make a profit.
The sell or process further decision is a choice of selling a product now or processing it further to earn additional revenue. This choice is based on an incremental analysis of whether the additional revenues to be gained will exceed the additional cost to be incurred as part of the additional processing work. The sell or process further decision most commonly arises when two or more products are generated by a manufacturing process. At the point when the products can be split apart, there is no choice to sell the goods immediately or attempt to capture additional value by engaging in more processing. This decision may change over time based on change in the market, prices of a product at each stage of processing.